An interview with a visiting speaker is causing a stir on social media. The comments from a controversial end times pastor now has over 3.5 million views on TikTok.
First Alert investigator Beth Warden is telling us about the questions raised and is bringing us some answers from an expert.
Shahram Hadian had his second speaking engagement in Sioux Falls earlier this summer. Before his return, I set up an online interview. A final question brought a surprising reaction.
A pastor now for 21 years.
The majority of our interview centered around Pastor Shahram Hadian's background and topics at his speaking events.
Our ministry has been around since about 2010. So, yeah.
But things took a turn when I asked if the church was a nonprofit and if the information was on their website. My hope was to see if there are tax returns, see if there's a board, and how the finances are managed.
5081 church, nonprofit.
Okay, can you give me those details so I can confirm that?
There's nothing to confirm. It's on our website. I'm not sure how that's relevant to our conversation.
Well, I want to know what you do with the money.
Is that your concern?
Yes, it is.
We're a ministry. We're a ministry.
People misuse ministry money all the time.
Sure.
It happens. It is very much relevant.
Money,
so it's under
if you think
About
we're misusing
Us?
ministry money, yeah, it's under About Us. If you think you're misusing ministry money, then
I'm not saying you are, but
it seems like you're accusing us of that. So
no, I'm not.
I'd be careful of that accusation.
So I'm still looking for the About Us.
You're being very accusatory. I think that you don't hear your own tone.
I'm just looking for the connection.
Asking a nonprofit about their status and where to find the information is a standard journalistic question.
I pastor. I have a church in Tennessee, this ministry.
Okay.
We are inherently nonprofit.
We spoke with nonprofit consultant Michael Weiland. He confirms churches can be in a different nonprofit class if they desire.
As a church, you don't have to apply for tax exemption. You can set up a church and operate it as tax exempt without ever notifying the IRS you're doing so, and you're within the law.
If I wanted to, could I just say, I'm a church, do some podcasts about spiritual or faith-based matters, get together with people for coffee once a week, take an offering, and I can just have the money?
Yes.
Some churches choose to register as a nonprofit, especially those that receive grants, to show how the finances are spent. When churches choose not to be transparent with finances, it could lead to disappointment from those supporting a ministry. I contacted Hadian on 2 occasions, asking if he would consider joining an organization like the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability, which can review and accredit a ministry regarding finances and a church board. There was no response. In South Dakota, there are 18 ministries choosing transparency by registering with the ECFA, including Lifelight Communications. Josh Brewer wants those who support the ministry to have confidence in how their gifts are being used.
Accountability is incredibly important, and not only just to our donors, but also on a much higher scale of how we represent Christ and what we do as a ministry. It's biblical. If anything were to ever go wrong, I got a lot of different phone calls that people will be making towards me.
I'm asking you tonight to follow it.
Brewer tells me the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association sets a code for their ministry that Lifelight and other ministries and churches follow, designated to guard against lying, pride, sexual misconduct, and financial abuse. The viral video is prompting comments from viewers who hope for more transparency with churches nationwide.
Nothing about what we do is absolutely lawful, and that's the last that I'm going to say on that subject.
I also asked Hadian if the ministry donations are funding his Tennessee home, valued at about $1.3 million, in a location where the average housing price is about $400,000. There was no response. Weiland says churches have a lot of discretion with how the church offerings and ministry donations are spent.
A lot of times it's more about, I like that person, I like their message, I like how they make me feel.
Although there is not an About Us page on their website at truthandlove.com, we were able to find a page where they declare to be nonprofit and a free church. Hadian is not only making waves here in South Dakota. In Washington State, he spoke at a church, the service at a sidewalk outside of Spokane Planned Parenthood. The church later had to pay nearly $1 million in legal fees and a fine for interfering with patient care. In Sioux Falls, Beth Warden, Dakota News Now.
After speaking in Sioux Falls, Hadian spoke in Rapid City and several Minnesota locations. Too, there are no upcoming events scheduled at churches. According to the Truth in Love Ministry website, there are online services scheduled twice per week.